Alright, we survived that mess. All Despicable Me 2 has to do is be mildly enjoyable for children, and it will win the weekend. It ain't that hard. Its job is kind of done for it at that point. Despicable Me 2. Despicable Me 2 is about the former villain Gru, voiced by Steve Carell. He's turned adoptive father to these 3 little kids, and now he gets hired by this agency to help him out and look for another villain. All the while, he's still trying to be a parent to these kids, and all the while, he still has his minions. The minions in the first movie didn't really impress me much, because all I saw were a bunch of little guys punching each other. I was like, punching someone is like the most basic of slapstick things that you can do. There wasn't much there for me. I felt the minions in this movie were a lot funnier than they were in the first movie. It was still slapstick, but they did shit like they got their fire hats on, and one has his hatchet and he just like digs through the wall, and I was like, that dude's just out of control right now. I was laughing my ass off in the song in the end credits of this movie just because the minions made it work, man. They rocked it. They're not my favorite thing in the history of mankind. I'm not gonna go out and buy like a Minion squeaky toy plushie or anything like that, but for this movie, they cracked me up. The first half of this movie really plays up the family aspect, which is still an aspect of the movie that I don't connect with. I'm like, okay, yeah, he's got this family, and can he just, I don't know, be a villain again? But that's not what the movie's about. He's not a villain anymore. I actually gotta respect the movie for that. The little kid's really cute too. This is like the cutest little animated kid since Boo from Monsters, Inc. However, Gru gets he gets this partner in this movie, voiced by Kristen Wiig, who's, you know, a little bit of a love interest there. And I would call her an overactor, but she's not real. She's animated, but if she was real, I'd be like, you are an overactor. Lipstick taser! I'd be like, wait a minute, people don't actually talk like that. But this movie is made for kids, and so it's okay. I'll tell you what I really like. This is my favorite part of the entire movie by far. El Macho. Best part of the movie. Even his introduction was awesome. I mean, it's this really fast-paced one-frame animation. The way he takes his drink and he slams the money down and walks out the wall. It's very fast, you know? I like that kind of fast animation, so immediately El Macho, I was like, you're awesome. You don't see much of him in this movie, which is a bummer, but that's what I will remember about Despicable Me 2 is El Macho. The second half of the movie was really cool because you had more spy stuff, you know? He's really taking on the villain. It's all going down. It's entertaining. It's cool. It's all in 3D, which is completely useless. I don't know. I'm burned out on 3D. However, I feel like maybe I was just a really wimpy kid. That is actually factual. That's not an if. I was a wimpy kid. But these things at the end, they're like these purple monsters that look like Morlocks from the old original Time Machine, and they just eat everything like the Langoliers or something. I was like, that's gonna frighten children. If I were a kid and watching this, I'd be like, oh, plug in the nightlight. In fact, leave the whole light on. I'm not sleeping. That would have scared the piss out of me. In the end, I personally think Despicable Me 2 is better than Despicable Me 1. If you're already attached to the first one, you'll probably argue that point. That's fine. But as someone who wasn't attached to the first one, I saw this movie and I was like, oh, that's a much better step. It's still strong on that parental element, so it's good for kids, good for parents, good for babysitters. I will say Despicable Me 2 is a good time, no alcohol required. If you're looking for something to do for the 4th of July, and you have a family, Despicable Me 2 is perfect for you guys. All right, so Despicable Me 2, have you seen it? What did you think of it? Do you prefer the first one or the second one? Whatever you think, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.